Hey everyone, today is Monday, October 1st. I'm anxiously counting down to the release of my long-awaited game. Um, I don't know what to talk about today. It's not that I don't have any topics, it's that I think I have too many. I wrote my post about the three games I played over the weekend. Um, Stowe, Lotro, Tor. They're all near and dear to me these days. And yeah, I had a lot of fun playing them this weekend. Um, Apparently, the Supreme Court of the U.S. is going to start doing its thing, and a friend of mine mentioned how today they're going to be rejecting cases or picking which cases they reject. And I was like, well, don't you mean picking which cases that they will hear over the next term? And then I made a mistake in saying that because any cases they choose to not hear will be implicit approval. And then my friend was like, "Oh, right, you're right," and so on and so forth. And then I had to correct myself later by saying, "Actually, I misspoke. It's not implicit approval. It's just they don't see the question they need to answer or whatever reasons. It has nothing to do with their approval of it. It might be inappropriate for the Supreme Court to hear such a case through whatever means." So I hastily corrected myself there. That led me to thinking about how it kind of feels like I got a degree and I'm being punished for getting a degree I enjoyed getting. My first degree program was computer science, and I absolutely hated it because they made me learn math that I wasn't going to use. They made me memorize code that I would always have a book on hand when I used it. Um, and then they tested me and my memory on the code in some sort of perverted, bastardized version of old school meets new. Uh, for the record, handwriting code is all well and good if you don't have a computer on hand. But for those of us who had a laptop their first year of college, fuck you with a rusty railroad spike because that really pissed me off. I got a C or a D in that class because when it came to handwriting the code, what the hell? You're always going to use a computer for implementing code. Hell, you always use it for writing it. Why do you? No. But that was 2001. No, that was 2002. Um, so these days, obviously, I think things have changed. But it still feels like I switched into what my degree program was called Administration of Justice, and it was in humanities and social sciences and blah, blah, blah. And I have a fair smattering of government, and I took a sociology class that was boring as hell, probably because of presentation. I spent a lot of time in special topics classes because I enjoyed learning all the little nuances of the criminal justice system and so on and so forth. I liked learning how things worked behind the scenes because, honest to God, I don't eat sausage and I don't care how it's made. Well, I don't eat sausage often enough to be worried about it. So, it's like I said, it feels like I'm being punished for studying in a program that I enjoyed studying, that I can't get a job these days. And in fact, I recently read articles that talk about discrimination towards people who've been unemployed for a month or more, and I've been unemployed for about 3 years. And people are saying, "Oh, it's not happening. It's not happening." Well, that's the first sign that it is actually happening. People don't like to admit that they discriminate against people for one thing or another. Now, discrimination serves a purpose. It's, culling the herd. Okay, I only want people who've recently been employed, so I'm going to make the cutoff a month or something equally arbitrary. But the thing is that you're cutting out a whole horde of talent that needs that position, that might be better for that position than the people who have recently been employed, who may be the square pegs to fit in that square hole instead of the round pegs that you're trying to smash into that square hole. Yeah, they'll fill it, but they're not going to fill it very well. So, and that led me to thinking about other things like trades, and I'm thinking about, locksmithing. As long as we have a need to keep our possessions to ourselves, there will always be a need for a locksmith. to paraphrase a statement I remember hearing about a while ago, as long as there is a need for anonymity, so too will there be a need for paper money, or the rough equivalents. Had to do with purchasing porn and outlawing paper money now that we have a digital society. So I can't remember where that came from, but I think it might have come from some Supreme Court discussion on privacy or what have you. I don't know. I don't remember. I don't remember at all. But right now for today, the things on my mind that I want to get done, I want to work on a script for Wednesday's video. I'm going to talk about some of the traits in Star Trek Online when you go to make your character. So it's going to be fairly boring. And I might have to split it into 2 videos. Talk about ground traits the first time around and space traits the second time around. Or talk about traits that deal with stats on their own versus traits that deal with your eventual skills. Like accuracy versus plus 10 to hull repair, that sort of thing. There's the plus 10% defense versus plus 5 to all your power settings, depending on how low they are. I don't know. I might make that delineation. I don't know. I also have on the table in my mind to progress the campaign for my friend's Star Wars game. I've been bouncing ideas around in my head. They landed on Tatooine at Mos Espa for repairs and refueling and so on and so forth. I think I'm going to have them get attacked by mercenaries or Tusken Raiders or what have you. And then I have family coming in town they're just swinging by. They need a place to stay, and then they're going to be out of town again. They have a flight. And so there's that. But also there's a shelf that needs rearranging. My mom wants the contents of one shelf and the contents of another shelf swapped. And as well, there's also the dishwasher that needs unloading and reloading. And yeah. A lot of considerations. Oh, and at the same time, there's always the dogs. My new stick of RAM has already shipped. It should be here by Thursday. I have no idea about the heatsink. I hope it gets here eventually, one of these days. But yeah, got a lot on my mind. Locksmiths. Until next time.